Hey friends, today we're going to take a deeper look at the profile. I have a lot of information on these slides, so we'll walk through it. I'll just be reading it, and we'll look at the metaphors of it and being able to really deepen into the profile, because the profile provides us with our public role. So first we have the aura. The aura is like this overarching energy. The aura does the talking for us. Our energy field speaks to people prior to us even showing them body language or speaking words out of our mouth. And this goes back to the HeartMath Institute and how the neurons of the heart itself are 6 seconds into the future before the mind neurons can catch up. So the heart is already connecting with the auric field of whomever you're connecting with. And again, one of the things Ra always indicated was that this only works when it's in person. Well, I don't know how far I quote unquote believe that, because energy has no boundaries. Energy just moves. Energy, at the CERN field in Switzerland, they've proven that you can take a proton or a photon. I can't remember. I know that they're totally different things, and you can separate them for they separated them for 1.5 miles. And when they tickled one, the other one had the excitement and had the exact same response to that tickling, as they call it. So I know that there's no distance that energy isn't going to travel. So the heart neurons are always touching the auric field prior to. For example, when I get on a call with a client, I mostly do everything now through Zoom instead of in person. And I know when somebody is reluctant. I can feel that. I can feel that prior to the call. I know when someone's ready to just bust open and be available. I can feel that in a call. So, in my experience, this definitely doesn't have to be in person. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these deeper aspects of the profile. So we have the overarching aura. We have the incarnation cross that we come in on. This is the purpose. Excuse me. This is the purpose. And then the public role, or our profile, is like how, I don't love the word how, but it is kind of how we experience ourselves and allow for that purpose to shine through us. So I guess it really is the how it is moving through us. So let's lean into this and play and see where we come up with. Okay, so first off, the teacher. I have a lot of information on these slides. Okay, so I'm going to read it. You can read it. You can mute me and read it yourself, whatever you want to do. Totally up to you. So the first line is the teacher. So this is always the foundation. The first line, any first lines that are in your chart, this is foundational information that you are designed to deliver for that particular aspect. So maybe it's, let's say gate 55, and you have line 1. You are designed to really provide the foundational information. However, if you have the first line in your profile, whether it be on the mind, personality side, or on the body design side, either way, you are designed to be a teacher, and you're designed to be authority in whatever it is that your purpose it is here to find that solid foundation through. So, for example, I am on the right angle cross of contagion. My entire purpose is to discover deeper and deeper and deeper aspects, with that 29 being in my sun. And the 30 grounding it. So grounding it in the fates, knowing that everything that we see in this world, everything that we're seeing is just a figment of our imagination. And that is it. We can imagine this however we want to imagine this. And I go deeper into the abyss and deeper into the abyss so that I can be an authority of it and bring this material to you. Okay, that's what a first line, if you have a first line, that's what you're doing. We're going to get to the body side. Okay, my first line's in the mind. So the first line is always insecure because it's always wanting a foundation. It's always looking for a foundation. It's going to investigate. It's going to find out, what is there? Is there truth in this? It's always driven by fear, and it's the caveman diet. Now, why do we go here? Because these are the deeper aspects of color and tone. So we want to weave all of this into the first line, because the first lines are just notoriously fearful, because they're constantly investigating, because there's this insecurity. The first line wants to relieve the fear. I'm a first line mind. I took every single class that I could take so that I could be an authority, so that I could have a solid foundation. I studied for close to 10 years so that I could actually really have this material and have the experience so deeply in my cells that I knew that I could bring the detail so that I could lean into relieving that fear inside of me. Teach the facts, the foundation, the basics that you need. Very introverted, scared to fail, and we'll get into that in the third line. Okay, does not mean you will teach, but it means that you have that deep in your cellular structure. Okay, means that you have that deep in your cellular structure, so you do have the capacity to teach. Okay, you have the capacity to teach. Doesn't mean that you're going to teach, but you do have the capacity to teach. The investigator, so it's quite mundane. Like, I have a very mundane life. Anybody here with the first line, share in the comments. Talk about this. Share what it is to be a first line and your experience of it. Transcendence, the teacher, the one opens up the door for others. Okay. So oneness sets the table for everything. Okay. So the ones, they set the table for everything. Fear can be rampant. And as we move through the sixth line, this will shift. Okay. So the sixth line, as we get to it, it's all about being the role model. And right now, in the background energy frequency, it is the first line. So investigation, oh my God, there's so much investigation. People are digging up stuff, like quite literally digging up stuff, digging up the Nag Hammadi library, like quite literally digging, finding ancient texts and information. That's what's been happening in the first line. As we move to the sixth line, there isn't going to be that real drive to do that. It's going to be more about the being the leadership of all of this material. Okay. So the personality mind that would like to teach, it's a great investigator. It probes into the fear. It's a deep investigation into the fear. The mental level, nothing is solid. Understand that. Your mind, everybody's mind, including mine, including Ra's, will constantly move and shift and move around. Okay. Can't let go of needing the answer. Have no idea what to teach, and will leave you with puzzles. That's what it's designed to do, so that you go back to step one, to investigate. Okay. So the mind is a very interesting space. It's not a bad thing if you have a first line mind. It's not a bad thing. This is just what your mind is doing. Now, again, you have the capacity to use strategy and authority and lean into strategy and authority, so that you know what is correct for you to investigate. Now, if we look at the body side, this is connected to digestion. If you can't digest properly, then you can't teach anything. So when we look at the body side, digestion is always such a critical piece. So there's a pressure on you to put what you know out into the world. You must know it in detail so you're not afraid, okay? The form itself is a solid aspect, right? We have energy that we turn into form, and we do that through digestion and being able to recognize how we digest things. So knows what to teach and makes you feel secure. A separatist mind, fragile, hard to be in this plane, is isolated. The communalist mind needs to collaborate, needs support. So where are we getting these keynotes? We are getting these keynotes in the motivation aspect. All right, so go back to the motivation and just look and see. You're a first line mind. What are you? Are you a communalist or a separatist? Sorry, first color mind. My apologies for that. First color mind. Okay, so again, these are the deeper aspects. Ra always, when he taught his material, what he did is he blended things all the time, because what that did for us as students is it allowed us to go deeper in and see the deeper aspects and constantly go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then bring it to the surface. Bring it to the surface. So in a separatist design, not part of a large organization. In a communalist design, part of a large group. So if your profile is a 5-1 or a 4-1, you're a natural teacher. If it's a 1-3 or a 1-4, dependent on the nature of the vehicle. So again, the first line minds, okay, or sorry, the first line bodies are natural teachers, okay? 1-3s, 1-4s is dependent on the vehicle. So the vehicle has to be correct, meaning your body, what you're taking in, what you're digesting, how you're digesting, using the primary health system is so important, so that the mind can be clean enough to teach, to get to the solid foundation, to take the time to investigate. 1-3s, you can also add in here, creative, intuitive, penetrates the area that the 1-4 will not go to. Okay. And the 1-4 is fixed in influences in their network. This is about a 9-centered awareness. This is what human design teaches us. So tone 1s, nose and smell. The nose breather, basic immune defense system, okay, can smell fear, artificial pheromones in a new car, bubble gum. The investigation starts with nose, sniffing. This is the animal's smell. This is the very, very, very fun foundation. And what is very interesting to me is that over the last, let's say, like probably 40 years, where perfumes and fragrances became very manufactured, there's been this uptick in chemical sensitivity for people because of that aspect. Aromas can mask fear. So it's interesting how, people will put on perfume, put on things like that, artificial stuff to try to mask it. So the first line is the ant. The second line is the grasshopper. First lines leave the home early to investigate. I had just turned 17 when I left home. And I moved, what would I far, like 1,700 kilometers away from home. So the first line, this ant, like they are like, we're on the ground. We're the boots on the ground. We are connected. We are the foundation. We are the building blocks. Okay. So you can use these keynotes while you're working with your clients as well, so that you can help them go deeper in. And if this is you, really lean into this teacher aspect. Again, it's not that you are going to naturally, or like, it's not that you mean that you are going to be a teacher, but most likely there's going to be aspects of you that really desire that. Okay, let's go to the 2. So the 2 is the guru. In business, we call this the natural. So guru is like a Sanskrit meaning. So this is the grasshopper. It has the talent. Okay. Twos don't do, they hope. And they may never leave home. They're the ones that are behind the window, behind the curtains. People are looking in at them. They may never leave home. So they don't even know that they're talented. They're confused when people tell them that they are talented. Now, what I want you to understand is that we're going deeper into the tone and the color, because this is what Ra always did again. So the tone is the mouth breather. So again, just look at this through the lens of the profile. And then again, you can go deeper and go deeper and go deeper, because we have every single aspect that there is in the human design body graph. We have every base, every tone, every color, every line. We have it all. We have access to it all. Okay, we have access to it all. Now, the only difference is what is defined is for you to represent. What is undefined is for you to just access out in the plane and just sample it. So second lines are mouth breathers. They wait for the uncertainty and the mutation, and they are attuned to mutation. So what's important is that we understand how deeply this is connected with, how deeply this can get connected with the immune system. First and second lines are deeply connected to the immune system because they are birthed out of the splenic center. Okay. So a second color doesn't get involved. Gatherer, they're repetition eaters. Okay. What's available around you, local market food. They don't like to get involved, and they're very hopeful. This is, again, going back to the motivation in the personality. So the line itself, others see into you. They see the talent. So wait for the call. You don't know what call to answer unless you're very connected with your strategy and authority. Okay. That is key for you to be connected to the strategy and authority. Gift for the unknown. They see what others can't see. They see the unusual in the other. They're missionaries. They find causes. And they need to be in a protective environment. So the environment needs to be safe and secure. Focus on what is beyond what is there. This is the transcendence aspect. Waiting for something, but you don't know what it will be. There's something spiritual about that. Doesn't study, called the things that feel natural. Okay. And this does not study. I don't know how true this is. I see lots of second lines that study a lot. But I would recommend that second lines more so go into their natural feelings. That's going to serve you better. So what does it mean by transcendence? Well, again, so think of this as the immune system. So our immune system doesn't know what is coming until it shows up. So when an illness shows up, then the immune system can get it out of the body, can scrub it, can clean it, can transcend the illness and move it out of the body. This is what a second line being is designed to do. So you're naturally waiting to see what's going to show up, and then you get to transcend it. And this is still like, it's very introverted because we're not to the 4, 5, and 6, which is all about transpersonal. It's extroverted. This is still very introverted energy. Personality. So somebody's going to call it your mind. Mind is the hermit. Okay. Mind wants to withdraw. So 2 4s become exhausted because they naturally want to withdraw, and the 4 wants to go out and be with its network. So there's a hidden gift in the mind, brought out so it can recognize it is there. It will go over things and over things and over things, okay? The resolution will come out. Information goes in, and processing the uncertainty that is there is something hidden in the words. Same things until a breakthrough. This is what the second line will do. It will, like, until it understands what it is that it needs to be certain about, it will chew on things. This outer authority gets lots of love, okay? Because they just naturally show up. They're just so natural at who they are. There's no limitation until the 2 tells you. Okay? The mind will emerge and crystallize. So don't get distracted. Second line minds have again, they want to study. They want to get so caught up in the studying. But if they just allow for their natural capacity, that is way better for them. So design side, there's lots of 6 2s that are coming into this material, 6 line beings. So the body that gets the call, they get pulled into uncomfortable calls, deeply demanding of regularity, redoes things, repeats things, okay, in its hermit space. There's a pattern that is built into this process. So 5 2s and 6 2s actually have the highest percentage of ADD because the body is getting called into things. And then the mind wants to lose its shit, wants to freak out. And it will lose focus on what is natural. So the 6 2 in the first area of their life may have a hard time. The 2 body will react when it is called. So this is where we go deeper into the theist and anti-theist of the 2 when we go to the motivation. You believe it or not. There's an underlying sense of faith, trust that what they are here, they will meet. What they are here for, they will meet. When the moment is right, then the transformation happens. 6 2s, 5 2s, enormous psychological difficulty with what the body pulls them into. Gurus bring things out of people. So your natural abilities will help others with their natural abilities. you get called out, then you will call out the natural abilities of others. So let's, like, I am not a basketball fan. However, hockey, basketball, we see these things when you have a team sport where you have someone who's really natural at it. And because of their natural ability, they actually pull the natural ability out of their teammates, and everybody kind of rises up to a different playing field. And that's what a guru does. Bring out their natural abilities and expose it and see if they can handle it. So the guru breathes you in and exposes you. Breathes you in. Again, mouth breathers. Mouth breathers. Breathing in, and it exposes you. It tells you, it helps you pull out your natural abilities. So there's a two-way street here. There's a two-way street here. I would say this is for every one of the lines. Like a teacher then pulls out the teacher in the other person. The natural abilities of the two pulls out the natural abilities of other people. So you raise the bar, you raise the level. I watch this with twos that are around me. They raise my capacity to learn through their natural abilities. All right, let's move on to the third line. I have a lot here in the third line because they are, third lines are the material plane. This is the priests, the priestesses. These are the pioneers, okay? If it hurts, you're on the right track. Things bang into you. That's all there is to it, okay? It's a trial and error process. It's usually never easy. You're going to pay the price on the physical plane, and there can be an intense focus. The 3 does not recognize limitation. It's all about discovery. 1-3s, what Ra always says is don't ever lie to them. This is so interesting because this is, again, what I am. And like when like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy, I was like, none of this is real. None of this is true. This is all lies. And I exposed these lies to my schoolmates at a very young age. And I totally remember breaking people's hearts, totally breaking people's hearts. And I also remember one schoolmate who had this deep, deep lie that she had created. It was so interesting. And we were really, really young. Like, I want to say grade 2, grade 3. And she created this massive lie. And I called her out on it, and it became quite a thing. And there was quite an uproar that happened around it. And the lie was just bizarre. And I knew it. And so this is something very important. Don't lie to 1-3s for sure. Just recognize that in the third line. Okay. So third lines don't want to lose. They don't want to be seen as a loser. They want to find out what actually works. Okay. And if you want to find out, give it to a 1-3. We're designed to mess up. Testing ground for all products. 3-5s are the best scientists. And it's so fun because I actually know some 3-5s, and that's actually what they are. They're actually scientists that work, they're doctors, they're naturopaths, they actually work in labs. So it's very interesting to watch that. Another keynote here for a third line is anarchy. Okay, they tear it down. This is the quintessential, do you guys know that Consumer Reports magazine, right? Testing everything. So not controlled by governments or large organizations. Okay, this is so important. So if you have a third line, recognize they will be anarchists. They're going to step outside of whatever constraints that human beings try to put around them. This is the martyr. It's my fault. And it can get very heavy. So Ra looks at them and has the courage to say, this is a lie. Okay? This is a lie. It's not your fault. It is what you're designed to, it's what you're designed to test out. So be aware. I do not so much lean into this martyr aspect, but I definitely lean into the anarchy aspect and the pioneer aspect. 3s wait for something to come to them. They say, when they say this is so they said this would work and it doesn't. Here's my way and it works. I checked it out and it does not work. So I spend a lot of money finding out what's not going to work. Most third lines, if you're here and you're a third line, know that you're going to spend a lot of money trying to find out what doesn't work. Third lines are also very good at adaptation. So has the right to tell you that there is a way. This is what priests and priestesses do. Okay? There is a way. They never go from A to B as they bump into things that don't work. They discover what's easier. They know what doesn't work and what they don't like. They're here to know this. They adapt to the suffering. Okay? 6 2s and 6 3s. Pessimism that happens in the first part of your life. 6 lines always go through this tripartite phase. And when you are a 6-2 or a 6, especially a 6-2, the second line body is kind of fragile. So in that first 30 years, it can be very difficult and hard on the body. 6-3s, your physical body's already prepared for what's going to bump into you. So that 3-3 life that you live in the first 30 years isn't as difficult on your physical body as the 6-2. It's about your way as a third line. It's not anybody else's way. It's about your way. Okay? Third lines are going to show you the way. They're personal. And if we don't have change now, we will be drawn down the wrong path. So they're dependent on the 4s and the 5s to help them get the information out to other people. And this is totally my process. I totally understand this deeply. 4s and 5s always take my information and they take it to their people, their network. And then if their network wants to come back and have a solid foundation, that's why I have an affiliate process. Because I'm not designed to go out and look for 4s and 5s. They will naturally come, and then they will be able to share the information. If those people want to be in my network or come and get the solid foundation as a 1-3, then that's what the affiliate process is all about. Okay, so if you have a third line mind, endless discovery to explore, the deepest potential for pain, because the mind, is going to make the mistakes. Each of us has a unique, differentiated way. So it can get painful. As a third line mind, it can get very painful. Okay, so 3 5s, 3 6 can get painful. Okay. Again, because we, third lines have a tendency to beat ourselves up, to have super, super negative self-talk. Probably everybody does. However, we actually will reprimand ourselves harder than most other aspects, because we are designed to make the mistakes. However, we are reprimanded for this as children. So then we take on that reprimanding and we internalize it. So in the body, it pulls you along the street and you realize you see it. 1-3s and 6-3 children, take care of them, okay, when they're young. Incredibly resilient. Fastest healing body when they heal. Keeps dealing with all the bumps. It's a driven body. It needs to be worked, sculpted, and it needs to be prepared for the world. Naturally finds what doesn't work. Okay? So 6-3s, great at teaching people how to lift weights the correct way, how to do Pilates, how to do yoga, how to use the physical body in a better way. Okay? Represents the pain of following the way. The threat of not following the way, priests threatened. Okay? So if you don't come my way, because I'm going to teach you all the ways, or I bump into all the ways that are incorrect. 1-3s, 6-3s, 3-6s, 3-5s, 4-6, 6-2. We bump into all the ways that don't work. Okay. And then that third line process of the 1-3, the 6-3, the 3-6, and the 3-5 will say, you can go down that path. You can go down all those ways that didn't work. However, there's a way that works. Let's move this way. Okay. Establishes a correct way. Not an established way, like the 1 says. The 1 is silly because it is not the foundation. Okay. The 3 is not the foundation, is what I'm trying to get at here. Okay. The 3 is not the foundation. The 1 is the foundation. The 3 is the trial and error process. So the 3 actually looks at the 1 and actually truly wants to tear down that foundation. So in a process of a 1-3, it's a very interesting process that goes on, because we want to build the solid foundation. We want to test it out. If it doesn't work, we tear it down and do it again. So priesthood points out all the things that are wrong with the other. You preach the way that actually works. So not transpersonal. They don't care about the parishioners. Okay. Don't make this mistake. That's what the third line is saying. Just don't make this mistake. So for example, on my YouTube channel, I call out all the myths, all the ways that people are pulling people into. Okay. So that they can get the solid foundation, so that they can lean into the solid foundation. Here, third color is desire in its hots and colds. 3s are hot and cold. Okay, so potential of desire that burns in a 3. Desire to move forward, watches things fall apart. So where do we get this color? Hot and cold. This is in the design color. The design sun earth color it talks about hot and cold. So desire to hold on and take the ride. 3-5s, 3-6s can have a lot of pressure and overwhelming. It can be depressing. Pessimism is important for being human. What does pessimism do? Well, pessimism doubts a pattern. That's what pessimism is designed for. It doubts a pattern, and then it finds a new way to do it. So pessimism is built in for half the process when you have a 6 line, okay? Desire doesn't tire. Desire is actually very resilient. Are you going to follow or lead? It's like a traffic cop. This is what a priest does. Okay. So if you have a 6, know that this is a part of your process. This will be a part of your process from 0 to 30. If you have a 3rd line, know that this is deeply embedded in your cellular structure. You're going to pay the price. You're going to figure out what doesn't work. And then you're going to bring a brand new way of what does work. Right. Let's move on to the 4s. Prophets. This is the influencer. These are the ones that can, speak in their network. This is now our upper trigram. Okay. 4s and 5s complete the hexagram. 6s are a little different and alien in the transitional aspect, and we'll get to that. 4s and 5s are public. The 4 is your local friends. It's friendly. And it's advice. It's friendly manipulation. It's social. Okay. It's the social delivery system. There's kindness and meanness as a theme inside of in their process. And they also can hold exhaustion because they can get tired in their network. So again, I'm just going to reiterate here. 1, 2, 3, lower trigram. We're pulling out the foundation. We're pulling out people's natural abilities. And we're pulling out what doesn't work so that we can find out what does work. Here now, we're now taking this out into the public arena. 4s and 5s, take this out into the public arena. 4s, so important. Okay, here's what I want to tell you. This is where 4s are designed for sponsorships. They are designed for loyalty programs. Yes, you can have affiliates, but really lean into the loyalty aspect because you want your people to continue to come back to you over and over and over. You want sponsors because now with that sponsorship, there doesn't have to be as much exhaustion by, speaking and sharing and being the prophet inside of your network. And you are investing in others, okay? So this is why authority is so important. Strategy and authority, decision-making is so important. There's always this, give me something back for the opportunity I provide you. Okay, the opportunity is in the network, but there must be a reciprocation. So here's what I witnessed with 4th lines is when they invest into the other person, they really, really have, I know expectation is not supposed to be a part of the 4, but there really is this, desire to have something reciprocated back to them. So this is where the loyalty aspect is important. So that there's always this reciprocation and constant flow of value and investment in one another. Opportunists, when to move and act. Profit is only powerful to those who it knows. Can only influence. It is what they give to get back. So they will give you whatever illness they have. That's what 4th lines do. Okay, they give illnesses. That's what Ra thinks. They will pass this amongst their network. Okay. If you are a 4 and see someone in trouble, don't give them advice. You can't take in a stranger. Okay. You're designed to just work in your network. Just work in your network. Work with word of mouth. work with loyalty programs. You can do affiliate programs, okay? Because if someone who knows you, who knows someone else and brings them in, great, okay? Waits for their friends to deliver back to them. Needs to align to the right forces. Has to have balance of giving and getting energy. When you put the influence out and get praise back. Wants stability, doesn't want to rock the boat. Okay. 4-6 and 1-3 were a little like, both of these aspects are a little strange because one is just transpersonal and one is just introspective. So I hold the introspective. 4-6s have that transpersonal quality. And it's amazing to me how many 4-6s also bump into me as a 1-3 because they're ready to help me externalize my process, who I am. So the 4-6 goes through a tripartite process, always making mistakes in a relationship that they develop, okay? That's what a 4-6 does until they get through that first 30 years. So networking is how you penetrate the world with connections. 4s are connected through familiarity. You want to be familiar with people. The connection is personal, okay? And humans need to be led. So that's why you're here to be the prophet. You're going to lead the influence. You're going to provide the influence. You're going to use the opportunities within the network to enhance everybody. Everybody wins when a 4 is around. So the 4 keeps everyone locked into a way. The heretic challenges the way and tells them that they are going the wrong way. Again, very interesting how the heretic and the third line process are kind of similar, okay? And we'll get to that. So the body, it is driven to connect. It is friendlier than the personality. 2 4s, 1 4s. Personality is trying to figure out why they are with people. It's the body that wants to connect. 4-6, first 30 years, the mind will try to influence the wrong people. More difficult pressure of the 4-6. Okay, the 4-6 has a little bit more of an interesting aspect because when we're influencing the wrong people, we get to this age of 50 and it's like, what? I had all these wrong people in my network. I watch this a lot with 4th lines. As they get closer to 50, all of those people that they influenced for the first 50 years of their life start to totally fall off. And they accumulate this whole brand new network. Because now they've gone through this massive process. And they let go of that old network. And they lean into a whole new network. Exhaustion is something, and it's everywhere. The world of influencers on Instagram. That is such an interesting space. That's what Instagram is all about. The biography, that's built by 4s. Having this biography written about them so that they can influence other people. Motivation of need, okay? Needs to influence. Masters of the network. Rightness is about being novice. So you can be a master or a novice. That's what need is all about. Prophet has the news, so can influence. The 4 controls the world of need. Need has taken over. Need is all over Facebook. Everybody needs something. This is also calm and nervous when we look at the color on the design Sun Earth in the PHS. Kindness and meanness is a frequency. This is how fourth lines bond. I watch that as well. It's very interesting to watch that, where they can be so kind, and then the next minute they are totally mean. When you see a 4 that is comfortable in the process, there's a level of calmness in them, and that creates an influence. So the master novice, there's a promise of mastery, tons of novices moving to mastery, devoted quality that is inherent in the 4. Trust me because you know me. People trust 4s. The 4-1 is totally different than the 4-6. The 4-1 is rigid in its presentation. It's the opportunist teacher. It's the glue that holds, right? The 4-1s, these are the juxtaposition, these are the bridging properties for design. They bridge the introspective lower trigram to the transpersonal extrospective of the top of the trigram. They are the bridge, okay? These people all have a 6-color personality. And what does that mean? It's always going to be a very so the 6-color personality, this is all about innocence. The innocence of just being that glue. So brings the root of the hexagram out into the world. The 4-6s are not connected to the foundational information. 4 wants to be personal. They want to be out there, but the 4-6 is designed to influence. So that's why they connect so deeply with the 1-3, because they don't have the foundational information built into them. They're externalizing it, and then they're going to lead through that externalization. So I, again, often see how many 4-6s connect with my material because they're looking for the solid foundation. And they're looking for that 1-3 aspect so that they can then go out and influence and lead in their networks. All right, next. 5s. 5s are so interesting. 5s are the messengers. So now these are the 5th line. If you got this in your profile, you're designed to connect with brand new people. This is where I see things like Google search or YouTube being so important. Like Rumble as well. Rumble is one that is more so for those that don't want to be in the quote unquote governmental whatever organizational large business stuff. Rumble's also a good place, rumble.com. These are the messengers. So it is the marketing, okay? Here's what's so funny, okay, is that our social networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these social things, 5th lines are being trained to operate in these spaces and become social. That's not what they're designed for, okay? This is your power to convert a stranger. So it isn't about a social aspect. It's about converting the stranger. So your message is designed to land with brand new people. Okay, so what the Heretic does is it universalizes. So what does that mean? So we can take a phrase, and 5th lines will come up with this brand new phrase. and they will speak it, and they will talk about it, and they will speak it out. And then all of a sudden, it will land in the cellular structure of so many people around the world. This is like the 100 monkey syndrome. And now all of a sudden, it becomes a universal phrase. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. That's why Ra was, quote unquote, the chosen one to create the structure for human design. Because he had that fifth line messenger. Many people, thought he was just crazy and nuts. So the five control the guilt. Okay. So guilt is one of the universalizing sensations that we know in this world. All fifth lines are exalted. It is about expectation. Projection at the deepest level. Give the fifth line the advantage of dealing with strangers. Others will believe you that you have the answer. Okay. And if you can't get the answer to them, you can't help them fix their lives, you're going to be hung. Project that you are going to be positive and the interaction will be positive. This is what you're projecting out to others. Okay. Everyone sees them how they want to see them. This was one of Ra's biggest things that he said is remember that as a fifth line, there's all this projection onto you that you are the savior. You're going to help people. You're going to be able to fix people. So much goes on there. However, every single one of those people that you interact with has their own stuff that they're dealing with. So you may not have the answer, but they project onto you that you do. So one of the things that Ross said was he just learned to just give the message and then let everybody in the room choose and make the decision if that message was correct for them or not. They could take it or leave it. So the reputation is an expected positive experience. It must deliver. People don't trust heretics. If they don't deliver, they are burned at the stake. So this is the important piece because so many 5-1s that I bump into, so many 5-1s are they are so deeply embedded in the fear of what if I can't help the other person? And this is where it is about you creating practical, super practical experiences for people. And then they get to absorb it how they need to. And it is not your responsibility, even though I know your reputation is staked on it, it's not your responsibility on how they receive the message. And this was something that Ra had to learn and then allow for the mind to natter and chatter and do what the mind's going to do. Okay. But just lean into that. Just kind of giggle at the mind and see that, the message is the message. How people translate it and put it into their cellular structure is theirs. Now take the testimonials that you need, because that's important as a 5. Take the testimonials, put them up there, because that's your reputation. Okay, that is your reputation. But it isn't about changing the message to change the message so that, I can help this person. And you change the message to help. No, it is one message. It is one message. And whoever needs it will take it. Whoever doesn't need it will walk away. Heretics make you feel uncomfortable with the guilt trips, right? Like, fix this. A person who meets the 5, the person who meets the 5 is their projection. It's not really what is there, it's the projection. So everybody projects onto the 5 that they will have the solution. And that's why the 5 just has to lean into their own message, their own practical solutions, their own practical message, And that will go out to those that it needs to go out to. You want to fix your life. Okay? Get off your ass and fix it. That's what the 5 will say. Get off your ass and fix it. The 5 will guilt you into making the change for yourself. And this, I love this. I love this aspect. Okay? They will quote unquote guilt you. Remember, everybody feels this feeling of guilt. There's a pattern. There is something going on with the other person. Now, the message, you will either go out and fix your life or you will not. So when a 5 drops a message, it is not the 5's responsibility to fix you. It is your responsibility to fix yourself. Okay? They're not going to tell you what you need. Points out that you have not transcended yet. It is not about comfort. The 5 shakes things up. Okay? They confront the conditioning. Willing to sacrifice its existence for a stranger's transformation. Offers you counter conditioning. See how this is important? So everybody's being conditioned at all times, all ways. But there is a counter conditioning. You know, it is this adjustment. It is this new conditioning that they offer. Fives usually don't fit in. They're outsiders. Okay? They are outsiders. The outsider who influences people. But the 4th line, familiarity, is taking over the marketing world. Be clean in your own life. And only offer what you say you can deliver. You may not get praise. Undefined ego wants praise, always. So be aware, if there's an undefined ego, you want praise. 5s are not going to get the praise. They're not. And what does this mean? What does this mean for you? So oftentimes, 5th lines are like, they can get very, very, I want to say bitter, angry, frustrated, disappointed, all of that, because they're thinking that their message should get praise, but it doesn't. It doesn't. People just take the message, they take that practical solution, they fix their lives, but they don't praise. However, ask for the testimonial, because once that testimonial is there, then it shows that your reputation is solid. But a lot of times you don't get the praise. Most of the times you don't even have people come back to you and say, yeah, that worked. So one of the things that Ra really understood was that don't get caught up in, getting the someone cheerleading you along. No, you're designed to be here to give the practical solutions and deliver them and to help people get fixed. However, you may not always get the pat on the back. If you can get a testimonial, great. 4th lines are notorious for getting testimonials. Their friends will, that familiarity, that love, it will all be there. 5th line testimonials are a little different. There's a little different flavor there, where the person won't talk so much about, the praise of the 5th line, but talk about how the information and the message transform their lives. Okay? The body has a heavy expectation. So if you have a 5th line in your body, 3 5s, there's a heavy expectation there. The personality gets dragged into the things that the mind is not able to handle. The reputation of a 3 5 gets really shattered, okay? Driven from community to community, trying to start over. I see 3 5s all the time. They are like the quintessential gypsies. Okay, they're the quintessential gypsies. Also, what I notice in 3/5s a lot is that fifth line bodies are the ones on Instagram showing their muscles, showing their like their beach bodies, sharing their breasts and their naked pictures. There's a lot of that going on as a 3/5. I'm not saying every 3/5, but a lot of them do that. So practicality, because 5s are designed to seduce. Okay, 5s are really designed to seduce. So practicality. Okay, the essence of the 5, only put out what you're certain of. If the information can't be substantiated, you're going to be burned at the stake. So the messenger brings to brevity the essence of what it means to stop and realize you are caught in a trap. The 5 stands outside it all, shouts in the valley about how the way is wrong. Okay, isn't it interesting? So we have the 1 getting the foundation, the 2 just here to be natural and allow for their natural gifts to highlight the natural gifts in others. The 3rd line, again, is that anarchist tearing down the foundation, finding a new way. And the 4th line influences other people to use everything that it has learned in the 1, 2, and 3, or connecting with the 1, 2, and 3. Now the 5th line is going up to the like in the valley, and they're screaming. Okay, they're in the valley and they're screaming. That's the wrong way. So the 3rd line was showing a way, and the 5th line is saying, "Oh, that's the wrong way." The 5s do the same old, same old. 5ths can't actually know themselves because there's so much projection onto you guys. So 5/1, 5/2 is measured against the standard. They can't possibly know. You never know the rules because you don't know what everybody else is thinking, and you don't know what other people are expecting of you. So be aware the 5th lines are heretical. They will share a new message. Even though the 3rd lines have tested out the way, the 5th lines will come along and say that might not be the right way. So they get you to reconfirm. Let's say this. 5th lines get you to reconfirm your decision-making process. Reconfirm it. Really lean in. They get you to really lean in. So everyone expects to be saved, and no one thanks you. You don't know what the other wants or what they expect. The paranoia can take over if you can't just be okay with someone different for each person. Deliver the practical, and you are saved at being burned at the stake. So when I work with 5th lines, practicality, simple steps, like distill it down and distill down the message so that no matter who touches the message, they get to make a decision. Yes, this message is for me. No, it is not for me. 5s are someone for each person because they are projected onto. 5s must attune to their own spirit, deliver the practical, and saved by being burned by just delivering the practicality. Do not offer what you cannot deliver. You will never be praised, ever. Okay? Just know that. You're never going to be praised. You're never going to get a pat on the back. That's not what you're designed for. You're designed to just bring the practicality. Okay? And show the practical way. 6 lines. We have the Buddha. This is the leader. And really, it's the leader of just being. Learning how to be, completely innocent. Learning how to be completely innocent. Learning how to see personally. The leader, perfected individual. Must be a way before there can be enlightenment. The way can be propaganda or hope, but it must be a true way. Now, why do we say propaganda or hope? Well, we can lean into either one of these aspects for the way. We watch how there is a social engineering that goes on through propaganda. So we can have propaganda, or we can just lean into our own path. So this is the bridge to the next hexagram. It's leaving the process behind. So whatever the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was doing, the 6 doesn't get involved in that. Okay? It doesn't get involved. After that tripartite phase, the 6 is very aloof. Okay? It doesn't want to get involved in all of that. It wants that whole process to be taken care of. And now it's leaning into what's next. So it's on the horizon. It's looking out at the shoreline. What is next? What's the next transition? So the 6 is not interested in other 6 lines. Okay? It is looking actually at the other 6 lines. It's actually looking at the entire circuitry. So if you're a 6-line being, you're concerned. So say you have collective circuitry. You look at the entire circuitry, and that's what you're representing. That's what you are enlightened in. If you have all of it, maybe you have individual, maybe you have tribal, and you have collective, all, and you're concerned about the whole thing. Okay. Again, 0 to 29. Differentiation through diet and behavior. This is the 3rd line thematic. Learn the hardest things first and get the trial and error out of the way early. The Saturn return, the umbilical cord is cut, and you are now in adult life. The environment, and this is where your environment and where you find your place. So from 30 to 50, hone your awareness and the maturing process. Become objective. Sit on the roof. The pessimism is to be left behind. At the Chiron, at the 50, this is where you flower and you come off the roof stage. Expect to be aware. The medium of your flowering, it's a directional movement. Chiron shows you a way. Optimism is to take over from the pessimism. Conditioning everyone else. This is the new life pattern. So the 4 and the 5's transpersonal responsibility. The 4 need to provide their network, okay, and get the return from that network. The 5 is to be burned at the stake, to tell them there's another possible way. They're both dedicated to their trip, okay? They're both dedicated to, taking care of their network and strangers. That's what their dedication is. The 6 has no dedication, okay? Is not dedicated or cares about this. It doesn't care about the dedication. It doesn't care about their network or strangers, okay? It's not caring about that. What it is caring about is that it's very aloof. And the more it bees, okay, the more that it can actually, quote unquote, condition other people through that Buddha, through that role model energy. So, they've been there, they've done that. Okay. What you don't deal with in your 30 to 50s, you will bump into in your flowering stage, and it's going to slow the process. So real maturity is over 50. So be on the balance. Okay. And this is what role model means. You see me as an example. I am not an example for you. I am just an example of my life. That's it, as a 6 line. So they're role models that this is possible for everyone. Okay, this is possible to lean in and be yourself. So they are living in their own, as themselves. The 9-center role model doesn't pitch to you. It doesn't say, do as I do. 6 lines do not convince. They are not here to do that. They are to be in their own journey with life. 4th and 5th lines sell you and convince you. 6 lines do not convince. Self-contained perfection requires no transpersonal message. It doesn't require others to make it glow. 4th and 5th lines, they need numbers. How many people will they affect? Buddha is sitting under a tree. This is what Buddhahood is. You're leading from a non-attached space. The 6th line is the most impactful to the transpersonal because they are only concerned about uniqueness and they are beyond measuring. So the design color, so if we look at the design color, it has a lot to do with the presence of light or the absence of light. Descends into darkness if they jump off the roof and they think they need to get back into the work of the 3rd line. This is the integrity of oneself. When in the world will take you down. When you play the way the world plays, there is only suffering. The lines are Buddha's awakening. Not here to be responsible. Here to be perfect. So 1st line, this is how we all awaken. We get a foundation. 2nd line, we let our natural gifts shine through. 3rd line, we test it, we retest it. 4th lines, now we go out and we externalize. 5th lines, we drop the new pattern change. We drop the message. We drop a new way of being. And then the 6th line, it's perfection. We've done all of those stages. Now we can just be the role model. Step out of being involved. I watch this. It's so fun to watch 6 lines. Like, do all of this. It is so fun. Also, we all have a Chiron phase. And the Chiron phase is for a 6 line. It's not about like, get your hands dirty and get in there and do more. For the 6th line. For the rest of us, there's this newness that can happen. And this new flowering, this new way of being in our lives, and then using our own profiles to now take that to the next level. Again, 6s are aloof. There's something different, true, innocent. It's the fool on the hill with no agenda. They don't care about right and wrong. They're not prejudiced. They don't care if you like the answer or not. This is all possible in the maturity phase. This is the energy that will show up in 2027. This is going to be really fascinating to watch this. Us go from a 1st line to a 6th line as an energy field. It's going to be so fascinating. The core of human design is teaching non-interference. Allow the life to move without the personality jumping in and saying, should we? Is it right? Allow the life to flow. And you are the medium of your enlightenment and awareness. Only when you are innocent as the passenger, you see the beauty. No longer carrying the responsibility that you must take control of your life. You get to be the witness. You get to be innocent. And above all of it, the personality stops interfering. So I want you to read this really deeply. The core of human design teaching is non-interference. Non-interference. Once we really understand the personality is who we think we are. The design is the body. Though the personality is just riding along in this body. It's who we think we are. However, we are beyond that. We are a deeper awareness and a deeper connection with the consciousness field. So when we allow for our cosmic coordinator to coordinate our lives from a wider view, from a more profound wisdom, and then we just allow for our inner authority and our aura to just do the talking, our inner authority to guide us, and for the strategy of our aura to connect with those that need to be connected to. And we trust all of that process. That's not interference. It's not interference. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you're in the mentorship and our calls, we can go deeper into this and play in this energy. All right.